Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you here. Today we have another quick battle with Crazy Mofo. I do have the Empire going up against Norska. Um, and I wanted to bring this build because there were a lot of changes to Empire in the latest SFO patch. So they tried to address a couple of the kind of more glaring, I guess, issues that they thought that the Empire had. So one of these is one of my favorite units, the Free Company Militia. So over here you can see these guys are no longer primarily armor-piercing damage. Before I think they had 8 armor-piercing damage. Now they're down to 6. So now they're strictly half and half, straight down the middle, armor-piercing missile damage. So a little bit of a debuff there. That's a fourth of their armor-piercing damage was removed entirely. We'll see if they're still worth it. I think they are, just because they're so cheap. But we'll continue trying them out. But I thought I would bring them here just to see how that kind of affected how they worked. Over here, you can see one of the other units they changed was these Knights Panther. And again, no longer armor-piercing. You can see here that they, just like the Free Company, they've split the damage right down the middle. So with their bonus versus infantry, they still have the most armor piercing of the Empire Cav, but they just, well, yeah, they won't be as good of damage dealers here against armored targets. Over here, I do have some Zentler's Reichsguard. I don't think they changed anything about these guys. I do have some pikemen, one out on each flank. This one is guarding my Hammer of Witches, who they did increase the cost of by like over 100, I believe. And then I do have the Sigmar Sons, the Tattersouls, and I've got a main line of Halberdiers and Flagellants. And these Halberdiers in SFO do not have anti-large. They're more of an armor-piercing infantry unit now, rather than a armored anti-large unit. They're trying to kind of differentiate the halberds, the spears, and the swordsmen so that you use all three. And so these guys are kind of your dedicated anti-large. Yeah, and you can see I have another one over there. And then I do have of course, Boris Todbringer and his Amber Wizard buddy. I believe they're going to increase the cost of these Griffins by about like 200 or so. That's just talking to one of the mods. But we'll see kind of how that goes. But that would definitely kind of clip the wings of this particular build here that you've seen a number of times. Anyways, over here you can see that he does have a nice flanking force, Maws of Savagery and Skinwolf Werekin. Over here he's got some Norscan Ice Wolves. And then out on this flank he does have some Norscan Ice Wolves and some more armored Skinwolves. And in this mod, actually, the armored Skinwolves and the Maws of Savagery don't really have any sort of role or place. You can see here these guys don't have armor piercing. They have 12 unit models, but they only do half as much damage. But the regular Skinwolves have a model of 24. So the damage output for the cheaper Skinwolves is 50. I think, like, cause they do 150. Skinwolves do 100, but the Skinwolves have double the models, so it's like 50% extra damage on them for less money. So I don't really think that these guys are worth bringing in the current iteration. The Maws of Savagery have even less models, even less useful. So definitely don't want to bring those guys. But you can see he's got a main line here of Berserkers. He's got some Marauders out on each flank. This is actually the Ice Horn. He's got some Hounds to double up on that center pocket. He's got a Marauder Chieftain, 3 Marauder Spears, 2 Javies, and a Shaman Sorcerer of Death. Just running on foot here with his glorious wolf hat. And yeah, so that's it. We'll get on our way. You can see my Hammer of Witches is doing work against these Skinwolves. We'll see how it's having to reposition, so it's not in the best spot. But there you can see it does. Nice miss there right in front of the line. Just took out two of those skin wolves. Um, I don't think they're getting back up. I think they're just super dead. So any model you take out on a regeneration unit, right, is good for good. So it's not going to regenerate anymore. And over here you can see these skin wolves are just slaughtering my pikemen. I don't believe they count as large, so my pikemen are having a very bad time here. I even brought some Tattersouls over with their flaming damage because I thought they could take on these mobs of savagery. That was a false assumption, but they are going to die well, I think. And then over here in the front line, you can see we're getting ready to start. And this is something that happens a lot. Because, like, look where the rest of this army is. And then look where these guys are. So when I see that, though, that's where my griffins are going to go. I'm just going to hop right over your line and right back in. And then when your backup finally arrives, I'm just going to run right through my lines. Out the back. So really just trying to take advantage of that stuff. And over here you can see still firing at those skin wolves. Just because firing over here isn't probably the most helpful. So over here, yeah, you can see Boris and his buddy coming down on the back line, getting ready. You can see putting down some firing, nice firing damage with these Free Company Militia on this flank. And that's kind of why I had these holes here, is because look how these guys wrap around. And this is where the Free Company Militia are just going to shoot into the sides. Then over here you can see my Zentlers do come over here just to finish off these Ice Wolves, and I'm going to pull some pikemen in as well to finish these guys off. And I'm not really afraid of these guys because, well, first of all, I've shot them a bunch. Second of all, they don't have armor piercing for the 130 armor of my Zendler's Reichsguard. So a lot of that damage is going to be just negated entirely. Over here you can see my pikemen are getting slaughtered. My Free Company Militia, I just pulled them. I just needed to pull them right here, and they were just a little bit out of range. So definitely not my best moment, but you can see here, got rid of these two units for very cheap. You can see Flesh of Stone being cast over here. I didn't want to bring Dwellers, so I tried to do kind of like an Earth Bloom build from the original game, or from Vanilla, and the cheapest spell on the roster is the Halberdiers. Is the Fleshed Stone. It's 1 gold cheaper than Earth Bloom, and it's also not gold. It's 1 Winds of Magic cheaper. Yeah, so you can see Boris here, a little overextended, should pull him back away from those spears. You can see I'm pulling those Knights Panther out. I did charge them through my main line to just finish off that fight a little bit quicker. And over here, yeah, you can see I just cleaned house on all this stuff. Over here you can see my Tattersouls almost dead, but I think chunking out may be their worth. And then over here, yeah, you can see nice, I think Pit of Shades is going to come down. Don't get drawn back in there. Oh, Purple Sun. And so I think I'm going to dodge most of it. But you can see Boris getting a little too deep. Need to pull him out. Then my Jade Wizard getting stuck over here. I don't really know where I was sending this guy. I probably sent him on like an auto attack. Some nice Earthblood coming down, trying to keep these Flagellants in the game. And then over here, again, I see some Marauders that have no support, so I'm going to come over here. They are Marauder champions too, so they definitely need the support. Over here, the Skin Wolf has pulled away from these Warhounds and has gone into my Free Company, so can't have that, so I'm going to send my Cav over here, try and deal, and then he got a nice rear charge over here with his Maws of Savagery. And you can see over here, lots of units. These poor Jabbies over here in the back could be thrown at my Jade Griffin, would be the best target, just because 56 armor is not that much, and javelins work really well when you bring that lore of metal, I think, at least in this current iteration. Over here you can see, what am I firing at? Good question. Oh, those Maws of Savagery. So getting some nice shots there. And then you can see casting that Flesh to Stone on the Flagellants in the middle. And then over here, yeah, you can see that Soul Blight coming down. This is why you don't want to cast Soul Blight on a moving target, because you can see that Soul Blight that was helping in that fight went over here and was no longer. These Flagellants just fighting tooth and nail. They're 40 armor, something they're not used to. And you can see, nice job getting these Marauders champions up and through. You can see they're bad targeting. I'm just going to be killing more of my Zendler's Reichsguard. than the Norscan Ice Wolves. So I definitely should switch that targeting over to these Marauder champions. Then you can see I'm just funneling my Sigmar Sons into the weakest point in my line. You can see over here, this is a sloppy play, letting this Jade Wizard just like die over here. But I have spent a lot of his mana. Then over here, yeah, you can see getting some shots on those javelins as I realize that they're coming in. And again, just trying to stop this gigantic hole in my line while my Cav is over here. And you can see nice charge by the Knights Panther, sending these champions just flying. And you can see it did not very much damage, charging against armored infantry Cav straight in there. Did not go very well for me. Over here, you can see these Marauder Berserkers did come back, getting some nice shots in there. But I'm going to have to drop all my stuff in here, or at least my Amber Wizard, to try and counter this stuff. And you can see over here, the Skinwolf Hurricane just slowly being pulled down. My Zendler's Reichsguard helping to stab him in the back. So he is broken there, but he will come back. See Hammer of Witches again, just helping to try and break these guys. I did pull some Halberdiers through, and they did catch this other unit of Javelin, so that was a nice steal from me. But you can see in the middle, that purple Son of Zarius took out my Sigmar Sons, which was pretty sad and devastating. But over here, you can see I'm slowly cracking through. I've got my Zentlers free. They're ready to hop around. My Free Company are pushing around the flanks of this fight. Hopefully my Knights Panther can hold. I do have these pikemen here. And you can see I still got Boris pretty healthy. And I think I'm shooting now at this blob. This would definitely be the best thing for the Hammer of Witches to be firing at. Let's see. Big money, no whammies. You can see a lot of this stuff, as Boris comes down, is going to break. Oh, you can see just stop Boris there. But yeah, they are targeting this. You can see these Marauder Spearmen broke. And he's trying to pull up and around, maybe save his Chieftain here, who's surrounded. And you can see my Zentlers and my Amber Wizard are helping to deal with these spears and javelins. And again, not the best fight for the Zendler's Reichsguard, but I really don't have any other choice as my firing line just tees off on this wizard. But I'm going to realize it's definitely not the best targeting choice. You can see that Hammer of Witch is still just firing off at this blob, doing some good damage. Goes up to 104, which is pretty good. And then you can see, of course, Zendler's Reichsguard still doing their thing. I think I've decided I'm going to go kill this guy. And there's not much you can do. Is he on foot? Icehorn Marauders coming to save their Chieftain. Yeah, he is on foot, so he's not going to be able to get away from this fight. But he is going to continuously get knocked down, but you can see there, yeah. He's going to break. And then my Free Company Militia has some nice flanking shots over here. I used them to clean up these spears. So I think definitely still a useful unit. Definitely not as useful as before, but still terrifyingly effective. And you can see, of course, Zendler's Reichsguard always paying for themselves with that 130-something armor. And then you can see my whole army is coming over here trying to save my Hammer of Witches. Trying to kind of just reset my battle lines. Because really, look at my infantry. I don't have much left. I've got a little bit of Halberdiers. I've got some Sigmar Sons. I got some pikes in the back. But really, a lot of this balance of power is just coming from these large Griffin targets. So you can see there, Hammer of Witches, 121 kills. You can see my Free Company did not get very many, but they were kind of shooting at some large targets, at least one of them. And Crazy Mofo did a great job of kind of pushing through my lines with his champions and other high-value units to kind of shut that down. But you can see MVPs definitely Zendler's Reichsguard, Knights Panther. You can see my poor Tattersouls got slaughtered in the forest. My Sigmar Sons got magicked. But we managed to pull out a win there. Mostly by shutting down those javelins. You can see these armored skin wolves got slaughtered. Man, 190 kills on this guy. It's pretty impressive. And you can see a lot of this stuff. Cut through my chaff. You can see my flagellants did not do very well. But anyways, great game to Crazy Mofo. And anyways, thanks for watching. That's that.